Behind every smile, there's a tear. Behind every fall, a chance to rise again. Here at Soul Tales Daily, we tell stories of love and betrayal, laughter and rebirth. Right finger subscribe today, because one of these stories could be yours. Sometimes the universe brings us to our knees, not to punish us, but to make us see the stars more clearly. There will be days when you are lost in the maze of failure, but believe me, it is your deepest scars that are the map to your treasure. This is the story of 3 souls who dared to bear their pain, then turned it into wings to soar to the peak of glory. New York, the city that never sleeps, opens its arms wide but is also cold to the point of cruelty. And, with his brilliant mind and burning desire, tightly holds the old laptop. It is not only a tool but also an oath. Mai, the stubborn artist's soul, slides her soft fingers on the sketchbook stained by time. Each line is a fashion dream. And Hoi, the boy with a warm smile like the summer sun, his hands are rough but his heart is golden, soothing all worries. 3 young souls, far from their roots, throw themselves into the ocean, believing that this place will be a destination for great dreams. In a small Brooklyn apartment, life is a symphony of challenges and laughter. And turns night into day, lines of code dancing on the screen like a dance of the future. Mai immerses herself in each piece of fabric, each needle and thread, weaving fashion aspirations. Hoi is the head chef of late-night meals, the fragrant aroma of bun cha spreading, not only soothing hunger but also warming the soul. They share the last piece of instant noodles, patchwork dreams, and a strong belief: one day, New York will have to bow down to us. But life is not like a dream, and New York is not a fairyland. The doors of opportunity slammed shut in front of them, bringing with them cold rejections. Mai, after many nights of honing her design, received a cruel judgment: lack of applicability, not suitable for the market. And, a genius with groundbreaking ideas, was dismissed simply because of her lack of experience and background. Disappointment was like an iceberg, slowly freezing all her enthusiasm. Hoi, to keep the 3 of them from starving, decided to push his bun cha stall onto the sidewalk in Queens. The fragrant smell of grilled meat was alluring, but it could not avoid the prying, contemptuous looks. This kind of street food wants to set foot in Manhattan? A man in a suit, his eyes cold, mocked and left. Those words were not only contempt, but also a stab straight to Hoi's self-esteem. In desperation, and believed that only a breakthrough project, a financial application with unique source code could be the only way. He threw himself into work like a moth to a flame, isolating himself from Mai and Hoi, refusing all help. The blue light from the computer screen became his only world, and tried to contact Mr. Evans, a notorious shark on Wall Street, whose flashy appearance hid a rotten soul. Evans, with sweet promises, painted a bright future for In. But it was just a perfectly staged play. In the decisive meeting, Evans calmly placed a USB on the table. How naive, boy, do you think an unknown person like you can do anything? And was stunned. That was the USB containing all his hard work and source code. Oh right, a few weeks ago, you dropped your phone at my coffee shop. I was very pleased to find it, and of course, I was also pleased to copy everything. Evans sneered, the smile of a victor on the pain of others. He had not only robbed him of his brainchild, but also crushed his last hope, pushing him into the abyss of betrayal and despair. And returned to his rented room, his body exhausted, his soul shattered. He retreated into the darkness, all light extinguished. I'm just a failure, a big zero. He was right. Anne's voice was weak, mixed with sobs. Mai and Hoi could not accept the sight of Anne falling down. Hoi, with calloused hands but a strong heart, pulled Anne out of the darkness. You idiot, so what if you fail once? Do you remember, when you were little and broke your leg, you still learned to walk again and ran the fastest in the village? You are Anne, the most stubborn person I know. You can lose money, lose projects, but never lose your head. Hoi gave Anne a bowl of hot vermicelli with grilled pork. He personally grilled each piece, wrapped each vegetable. Eat, then stand up. Mai and I will not leave you alone. Mai's eyes were no longer filled with disappointment, but instead burned with the fire of resilience. He took everything away, but he couldn't take away our talent and our aspirations. I was trampled by them too, but I will never surrender. She talked about her designs being copied and sold cheaply, but that was the motivation for her to rise up. We will be our own masters. Together, we will build our own empire, where no one can steal our passion anymore. From the ashes of failure, a new fire flared up, and, with his genius mind forged through pain, started again. He was no longer in a hurry, but meticulous and careful. He rewrote a new, more solid application, called Phak Hung, a symbol of a strong comeback. Hoi, with his perseverance and innate culinary talent, turned the simple Boon Cha stall into a familiar destination, attracting New York's gourmets. Long lines of people lined up every day to enjoy the soulful Boon Cha. Mai, with her skillful hands and creative mind, opened the Phoenix Sewing Workshop. Each outfit is not only a design, but also a story of rebirth, of an indomitable will. They work day and night, regardless of fatigue, because they know that every drop of sweat today is a brick that builds tomorrow's empire. A few years passed, and was no longer a poor student. He was the CEO of a billion-dollar technology corporation, with a vision that went beyond all limits. Mai was an icon of the fashion industry, her designs dominated major catwalks, shaping trends. And Hoi, the boy who used to sell vermicelli and grilled pork, was now the owner of a famous Vietnamese restaurant chain across the United States. Then one day, and received a cooperation offer from Evans's company. In the top conference room of Wall Street, and walked in, his eyes calm but determined, exuding the aura of someone who had experienced a storm. Evans, now old and with white hair, looked at him with eyes that were both surprised and scared. He was no longer the arrogant man of the past, only regret and failure remained. And placed the contract on the table, on which was his company's logo, shining in the middle of the world's financial center. "You taught me a valuable lesson, Mr. Evans. Pain is fuel for success. And today, I come here to reap what you sowed." Anne's voice was deep but resonant, causing Evans to bow his head, his hands trembling as he signed the contract. It was not just a business agreement, but a resolute declaration of victory. On the rooftop of a skyscraper, three friends stood side by side, looking down at the glittering New York City, which at one point seemed to be swallowed up. Anne smiled, clutching her phone that displayed her company logo. Mai flipped through a famous fashion magazine, the cover photo was her latest design. Hoi, with a satisfied smile, opened a restaurant management app, watching the numbers grow rapidly. They not only found success, but also found strength, undying friendship, and absolute faith in themselves. The scars of youth, not to leave traces of suffering, but to create wings, to help them fly higher, farther, reaching heights that no one ever thought they could reach. If Mai and Hoi's journey from the ashes has lit a fire in your heart, subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more inspiring stories. Life is an epic, and together we will write the greatest chapters of history.